you know, we politicians are naturally restless people. When a politician wins an election, he's thinking of the next election. When a politician loses an election, I'm talking about Nigeria. Yeah. This is the only place I play politics. I don't know about anywhere else, Ghana or Britain. When a politician in Nigeria loses the election, also, he's also thinking about the next election. Yeah. When a politician is ambitious, all right, and he wants a post, he's immediately, even after this election, he's immediately thinking of how do I put myself as a senator in my area in the next election or as a governor. So that is how we are. So for experienced person like myself, I don't pay too much attention. Because it doesn't always, the battle here is not for the first one that comes out. And it's not for the man that work hardest. There are so many things that decide who wins election here. Population, where you're coming from, religion, money, stakeholders leveraging. Those are the things now. I mean, the people in my party before, Labour, they're saying that they cheated us. How could Peter Obi have won the presidential election without winning in the two most populous, electorally populous zones? Between the Northwest, where we had almost zero presence, and the Southwest, where we had marginal presence, 50% of the total votes are residual or resident. So do you understand my point? So if you don't win in Northwest, you don't win in Southwest, forget it. If you win everywhere else, you will lose the election. So what I'm trying to say is that those considerations are there. So, and I'm talking about presidency now, and it also applies to governors and all that, and even down to local government chairman. Major stakeholders decide who wins the election. I'm telling you, that's the truth. Major stakeholders. What will now sway them, whether it is religion or ethnic consideration or financial availability, I don't know. But there are stakeholders in this place and it's not just here alone. It also occurs in America, at least I know. There are certain states, about 5 or 6, if you don't win them, out of the 50-something states, you can never be American president. Ohio, Michigan, New York, California, Texas, if you don't win in those places, you cannot be president of the United States. Those are, we don't have it in a collegiate manner here. But we have an electoral stakeholders conference also here. We do have them. From 1998 for up till Jonathan's time, people will not like what I'm about to say, but it is the truth because I am an insider. 5 people determined who Nigerian president was going to be. 5, and I'm telling you, it's the truth. Obasanjo, Babangida, the other man in Niger and Mina, Absalam, General Ibrahim Gusso, Tiwa Danjuma. From 1999 till, it's only in this election that their influence did not matter. Why is that? That's another story. But I'm telling you, I'm just telling you that for about 20 consecutive years, those 5 people determined who the Nigerian president was going to be. People may be angry, people may be insulting, as it's nothing to do with education or power or enlightenment. Nothing to do, because you only have your own 1 vote now. Yeah. And maybe a few people you can influence. But these people, they control stakeholders in various areas of our country and economy. Do you understand my point? So it is. In the UK, it is the same, but it is hidden. 90% of, 90% of, what do you call it? The council flats and all those things are owned by majority of people in the House of Lords. Majority of industries also are owned by about 10% of the population of Britain. But those are the people who control voters also, but not directly and not visibly. You know, Yoruba people say, there's no area of the world where stakeholders do not take prerogative position over ordinary men. That's the truth. We are all equal before God, but we are not equal electorally. These are hard facts. And I should know, I've been in it for 44 years. If somebody says that I don't know what I'm talking about, he has to have lost his mind. I'm not saying what we have done or the way it has been done is the best. I'm not saying we have produced the best result. I'm just giving a commentary on history. History is facts, not imagination or what ought to have been or what will have, what should have been. Just history is is an aggregation of events and facts about events that has passed. That's what I'm talking to you about. That is the narrative I'm giving you. So, coming back to your question, we cannot be perturbed about jostling, juggling, moving, and all that. When the critical time comes, for instance, it is difficult in African countries for incumbents not to win. You can fight me, or you can abuse me, you can insult me, but that is what I have observed. It is difficult. Incumbents do lose. I'm not saying they don't. Incumbents lose elections. They lost in Senegal. Do you understand my point? But most of the time, the incumbent will win in Africa. For Bola Tinubu now, what will determine whether Bola Tinubu wins a second term or not are one, God Almighty, who is the one that gives life. Because you can only contest an election if you are alive and you are in good health. So God is the number one person. The number two for Bola Tinubu, and I'm saying this with all authority, is the work of his hand. If he turns around this economy and things start to look better, it will be almost impossible to defeat him, because he's a smart man, he's a deft politician, and he's wealthy. Do you understand? People, I'm going to say some very unpopular things. Cherry, I know that's going to put me in trouble now. People say that the North will not vote for him. It's neither here nor there. We know ourselves. Do you understand? When the chips are down, I believe that people at the level of Bola Tinubu know what to do. But there is a constant quadratic equation. There are two that produces Nigerian president, and they never fail. A unity between Southwest, South, Southeast, and Middle Belt, without consideration for the North, will win the presidency anytime. Two, the North plus a major zone in the South, one will win the presidency. So this equation has been working since 1998. There was one of them, is what we use for Obasanjo. One is what we use for Jonathan in his first term. and they both worked. So nobody should threaten anybody. We know how to do this thing, and it is achievable. It's a matter of what I've just told you. The grace of God, the amount of work done, and the availability of funds. That's it.
Sir, how do you see the most recent Supreme Court judgment concerning local governments?
How do I say this?
Yes, the most recent Supreme Court.
Sure.
Sir.
I'm a federalist. The federal government made an error by taking the state governments to court on the autonomy of local governments. That word, autonomy of local government, is an aberration in a federalism. In federalism, there's nothing like it. Federalism is the union between a central government and subnationals. That's all. It's not a tripartite unity. No, it's not. The military confused itself and created a contradiction by recognizing 3 tiers of government in our constitution. It is an anomaly. It does not exist. It's not true. But people have argued that you decide what kind of federalism you want. Okay, no problem. According to this constitution, the judgment of the Supreme Court, the judgment of the Supreme Court contradicts the provision of our constitution. That's the truth. Do you understand?
I do, sir.
That's the truth. But the Supreme Court is the highest authority in the land. So me, I am a lawful conformist. I disagree, but I will. I will go ahead. I will consent. I am in disagreement with the judgment, but the law is the law. If we want to live in a civilized society, the law shall be the law. There's nothing we can do. If a murder has taken place and somebody, by circumstantial evidences and all presentations in the court, was found guilty and was executed according to the law, and 20 years later you find out that he was not the murderer, do you kill the judge? Nothing. That is why when they show the justice symbol, the lady, they put a veil on her face. She's blind, but her pronouncement is the law. She's carried the weight of the law and the sword. So this is the situation. But it is on record. I'm not a lawyer, but I know that the Supreme Court has gone back on its previous decisions and changed it before. It has happened in our history. Whether it will happen in this occasion, I do not know. But what I was alluding to was that Nigerians, Bola Tinubu's administration owes Nigerians a new constitution. They should do it. Let's just decide what kind of federalism we want. If whatever we decide, that's what it is. If you want a federalism where the center is strong and controls local government and all that, so be it. If you want a federalism that only the state and the federal, are in cahoots, so be it. Where every state controls all its own internal affairs. The state will decide, putting the number of local governments in the constitution is wrong. The state, and Bola Tinubu was right, when he was state governor, to have created those LCDAs. Every subnational has right to determine what happens within its own states. Do you understand it? So, that's my position. The judgment is, the decision to go to court was in error. The judgment compounded the error. But this show must go on. We can, lawyers know what they do. I don't know what they do. How they can bring the matter back to Supreme Court for reconsideration, I don't know. But if that is the position of the law, so be it.